whenever you're ready.
Okay, welcome to the March 17th, 2026 City Council meeting, and roll call, please.
Councilmember Behill,
Here.
Chimente,
Present.
Shirato,
Here.
Scott,
Here.
and Berlio.
Here.
Thank you.
Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So, reporting out of closed session, we gave direction to staff. Okay, and first up we have a presentation by the Resource Connection, Mia Husk. Welcome, Mia. Yes, please. Okay. And if you turn the button on for the microphone, there you go.
I'm going to also introduce Sherry Noble. She is our director over at the Resource Connection Childcare Resource and Referral. But as you mentioned, I am Mia. Yes, I am a Resource and Referral Specialist over at the Resource Connection. And I know I see Steve working hard for me.
Yes.
Thank you. But I did want to come in front of you guys just to describe who we are, a local nonprofit that's been around for 45 years, just so you can see kind of the behind the scenes work that we do that you may not be aware of that residents in your community are utilizing. So who is the Resource Connection? We are the ones that make childcare possible. Our office is the Resource and Referral Office, Childcare Resource and Referral, where we provide childcare referrals to anyone in Calaveras County or Amador County. We service both counties. We also support those childcare providers directly one-on-one every single day, and then we help folks find subsidized childcare, and if they're eligible for it, we can help them with that process. So that's kind of what we do in our department. The Resource Connection is a wide umbrella. We also have WIC, we have the Crisis Center, Advocacy Center, the Food Bank, you name it. We are kind of the community resource hub that kind of makes the community go round, I would say. Our vision and mission are in front of you. We just envision strong families, sustainable communities, and successful individuals. And our mission is to engage those families, empower communities, and enrich the lives of residents in both Calaveras and Amador. And as I mentioned, we have served both of those counties for 45 years. This is just a brief snapshot of the folks that we served last year.
Wow.
So over 3,000 children, over 300 providers, and over 570 families, which is a lot for our little rural communities, right? So we're very honored to do so, and we appreciate that. I am going to briefly go over a few programs, and then I'm going to throw Sherry under the bus, is what I like to call it, to also talk about a few of our programs. But as I mentioned, we help folks find and pay for childcare. That is the critical role in our Resource and Referral Department. So we give free childcare referrals. Someone calls or they walk in, and we find out how many children, the schedule of care, and work with them to find all the regions that they can find childcare in. We gave over 1,300 referrals last year. So that's a lot of childcare referrals, a lot of folks, working families and parents looking to get some quality care for their kiddos. And as mentioned, childcare subsidy, that is a big part of our office as well. We have seen over $5.8 million of childcare subsidies paid out last year. And I just want to point out, and there's a future slide where it's less than that from 23-24. So we're just growing in the subsidies that we provide for families, which is all state funding, by the way. And childcare provider support, as I mentioned, that technical assistance, training, and referrals, just giving that one-on-one support to those providing that quality care to all of our kiddos, and allowing families to go to work and be able to pick up their kids and know that they were safe the entire day. A lot of individuals look at childcare as just, oh, I just take my kid to whatever center, whatever home, and they get care all day. But really, childcare is so much more than just that. It's an economic staple for our communities. If a family member cannot find childcare for their kid, then all of a sudden they can't show up to work, and then the line at the bank is long, the line at the grocery store is long. Now a project's getting delayed another week because someone can't find childcare and they have to stay home. So it's very important that we uplift those families and childcare providers so we can keep that up, right? And then there's something that's very popular called Family Friend and Neighbor Care, what we've noticed in Calaveras County in particular is that there's something called childcare deserts, where there's a lot of childcare in these certain areas, but we get into our outskirts of Calaveras County where infrastructure is not the greatest, and these family, friends, and neighbors are license exempt, but they're able to take care of one family's child at a time. So they're able to kind of fill those gaps, and that really is just a beautiful thing that we have in our community and we're able to support. If you could scroll down for me, please, thank you. I'm gonna let Sherry kind of cover these next few programs, and then you'll get more from me soon.
Hello. So we have the Emergency Childcare Bridge Program that came in place 2 years ago. And so that's for foster families, also called resource families, to get immediate access to childcare, help paying for it. And then we have a special addition to that. We work as a navigator to help find that childcare, where we typically will do a childcare referral, and then it's parental choice, where we kind of step in and help find those trauma-informed care providers, and we connect the family to those providers. We have a lending library. We have over 5,000 items in our McCall Hill office, and it ranges all different child development domains from 0 to 13, and they're free of charge for anyone in the community to borrow. We have a community resource directory that we put out annually, and it is for both Amador and Calaveras County. It is online. Last year we distributed over 4,500. And then trainings, with one of our grants, we're required to provide 25 hours of professional development training for each county, but we offer the trainings together. So we offered 70 hours of professional growth through the child care providers. Now, we do a needs assessment to see where trainings we can provide, and then we build our curriculum based on that. If you don't mind going down. Okay. So in Amador County, we have a grandparent respite program that's for grandparents raising grandchildren. And then our consumable closet is something that we started during COVID. We had some ARPA dollars. And so we have this closet in our office that has crayons, glue, paper, all sorts of things that childcare providers can come and get at any time free of charge. They can load up their bag. And then a lot of that is we rely on donations for that, or we can look for community grants. And then we are open the third Thursday of each month till 7, because our hours are often their hours, so we want to make sure we stay open so they can access the consumable closet. Okay. And as I mentioned before, this is our 23-24 Community Impact Snapshot. We like to do these every year just to kind of see where we're at and how much we've grown and the support we've provided. So as I mentioned, we're at 5.8 million in childcare subsidies distributed. In 23-24, we were at 4.7. So to me, that's just a real testament to kind of the support that we provide for the community, but also the needs of our community. And then also we administer something called the Workforce Pathways Grant, where childcare providers who are going to get college units or getting a higher permit level for ECE, which is early childhood education, or other professional development opportunities, we have stipends that they can apply for that grant, and we can actually reimburse them for that hard work that they're doing. So that's over $500,000 that we've administered to both counties, but I would say our work in both Amador and Calaveras is pretty equal, like it's split pretty 50-50. So that's a beautiful thing. And just the hours of assistance that we provided to just childcare providers alone was over 7,000. Wow. So lots of work, but we're happy to do it. But what does Angels Camp look like, right? What does the city of Angels look like when it comes to childcare providers and where there's gaps? So we don't really have an exact number for those family, friends, and neighbors. It's kind of hard to keep track. Those fluctuate all the time. But for licensed family childcare homes, there are 3 in the city limits and 6 licensed childcare centers. There are no licensed exempt centers, and those are kind of after-school programs, things that are summer programs, types of things that you don't need a license for. So that's kind of your snapshot for the city. And 45 years of support. We have been around for 45 years. We did not start as a Resource Connection. That wasn't our name. It was Mountain Family Services.
Yeah, Mountain Family Services.
Yes, so but we're at the Resource Connection. That's what we are now, and I imagine we'll be for the rest of its existence. But we do have a lot of great things happening right now. We do have an annual children's fair. This year we are hoping to keep it in Angels Camp. We did find out that there was an issue with having it at Bret Harte High School on April 11th, but we are working to keep it in the city of Angels just so we can change the venue. Last year we held it in San Andreas. We'd like to host it here to kind of grab more people from out of the country, but also just host it in a different region and see what we can do. So fingers crossed we continue to keep it that way, but save the date regardless for April 11th. We would love to have you guys come out and just see the event. We get over 700 families and children coming to this event. A bunch of nonprofits are tabling and providing free resources. There's free lunch. It's a beautiful day to just celebrate the community that we have here. We also have those provider nights, which Sherry mentioned, where those childcare providers can come into our center after hours and get any resources they need to provide that quality care for our children. And as she mentioned, our workshops, consumable closet and lending library, all these staples to continue that quality of care. Why are we here? How can the resource connection fit into the work you guys do here? So we just want you guys to just keep in mind supporting those families and children with the decisions that you make and supporting those local child care providers. Come and visit our office. I know it's in McCollum Hill. It's worth the drive. It's worth the visit. We've had some wonderful visits with our local legislators and planning even with state legislators as well. It's wonderful. And attending your local child care council meetings, there is a strong local planning committee, or LPC, the Calaveras Child Care Council. They do meet every third Tuesday, sometimes at Calaveras Unified, sometimes at CCOE. So it does fluctuate, but if you want more information about that, we'd love to give it to you, so please reach out. And also prioritizing child care centers and providers in your general plan. It is mandated to do so by the state already, but it's always important if there's other ways that you can prioritize families, children, and child care providers in your general plan process, we would greatly appreciate it and would love to help you with that as well. And just crafting those ordinances and making those decisions that are friendly for the community as a whole. And I do want to say thank you. I appreciate your time. I've been dragging Sherry around and a few other coworkers of mine across both of the counties and visiting all of our municipalities and cities. And I will say I love the energy in this room, and I have never been to an Angels City Council meeting before, and I am very happy, and I will be back, I'm sure.
Welcome.
But if you have any questions for us, we would take them. We just appreciate it.
Thank you, Mia. That was great. Does anybody have any questions?
I don't have any questions, but I do want to congratulate you. The Resource Connection really speaks volumes for everything that you folks do. I volunteer at a local food bank, and the resources that the Resource Connection food gives and provides is just amazing. And having been on First Five for years, it's just, you guys are an amazing organization, and we thank you for everything that you do and everything that you provide our communities. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so we also have a presentation this evening from the Historic Downtown Merchants of Angels Camp. Jesse?
Thanks, you two. The three amigos. Me hanging behind. These two call us the Three Stooges.
Yeah, right.
I was thinking.
So I'll do it really quick because I just
Is the
wanted
mic
to.
on? Okay.
Oh yeah, that green light. Thank you guys for having us come in and do a quick presentation, just because you've heard different things about us. So yes, myself, Julie, Gretel, Aaron, and then we've got other business people downtown on board. We've kind of created our little organization, Historic Downtown Merchants of Angels Camp. We just wanted to share because people have been talking about it, to get some information out there about really what we're doing. As you know, we've been here talking to you. We have a passion for downtown. We all have businesses downtown. We want to see that thriving. So really the mission of our organization is just to bring together the business owners of Historic Downtown Angels Camp, celebrate and preserve our historic downtown, strengthen business partnerships, spark economic vitality, and create a welcoming destination for residents and visitors alike. Because a lot of times we reach out to the tourism, but we need to make sure we're encompassing all of our local communities and what we have going on down there. And I forgot to point out, if you notice the logo, yes, the frog is in there because we all love our frog, but being historic, we wanted to kind of encompass some of the other things that went down. Where we started, mining, and then of course, Mark Twain, because many people come down, especially by my office where the mural was painted, and take pictures in front of that. So we want to make sure we encompass the Mark Twain part of this, because there are organizations out there that also look for communities that support Mark Twain, and they have events and stuff. So that's why our logo encompasses all that. Some of the objectives we've kind of put forward is we're getting going. Networking opportunities provide a platform for historic downtown merchants to meet monthly to share business activity, ideas, challenges we're having down there. along with collaborating on downtown events. If we can have different downtown events where we are all open and supporting that, then that's going to bring more people down there. Economic, community engagement, develop and promote local business engagement with both our local community, neighbor communities, and the tourism. Tourism, and then historic downtown business advocates. You know, we've been coming, so working to unify and involve the historic downtown business community along with the city of Angels Camp to enhance and drive business development. As you know, we've been coming to you guys. We've met with city staff a couple times, just generating ideas and how we can kind of collaborate and brainstorm together, but then bringing that back downtown. So there's a voice down there when we're having our meetings, say, hey, this is what we did with the city, or this is what we're talking about, or these are some of the suggestions you had. So our voices are connecting. We've kind of had that sometimes disconnection where we hear different things or rumors get going out there. If we're all on the same page sharing ideas, then we can move forward and not backwards, which you've all been around where sometimes we've done that. And then a few of our priorities for this year. Again, working with the city for better directional signage to historic downtown Angels Camp. That came up at the last council meeting. That's something you guys have thought about. So, you know, working together with you of kind of what that might look like, where we could put that. Historic downtown beautification. You saw me out there this week. It starts with us. We can't be saying, hey, we need this, or can you guys do this, or can you pressure wash the sidewalks if we're not out there taking care of our own businesses. So yes, I was out there in shorts this weekend. He's making fun of me, but pulling all the weeds and turning the bushes back, making sure I'm on the corner. I'm like one of the first things coming from the Sonora side, Twally County side that you see. So my business needs to look nice if we do that. Coordinating downtown group business events. So again, either sidewalk sales or, you know, the third Thursday is coming. We're trying to get that up and going where we're just having together collaboration with the businesses and offering different things so we keep people to stay. We understand downtown's got vacancies, but the ones that we have right now, let's make sure they're thriving so we can get others thriving. Attracting new businesses to historic downtown to fill building vacancies. We know a lot of business people. So when we're out, either if I'm over in Sonora or if I'm over in Amador County talking to people, hey, maybe somebody's looking for something. We've got building space. We've got things that you might, so working with those people to come to our town, but also stay. Because one of the biggest things we've seen is they come and then they leave, or they don't get the support that they need. So where we can like talk to them and help them, and our organization can bring people in with business planning, strategic planning, marketing. You know, a lot of people start a business and they really don't have that plan in place. So if we can help, we want to keep people here for longevity. And then encouraging to continue exploration with city to get historic designation for the historic downtown and other items that, you know, sometimes we've met with Amy and talked about for different ideas. You guys talked about the lighting and stuff down there, just that beautification. So just, that's really what we're about, is kind of the voice between, and then bringing ideas and working together and collaborating to really make downtown thrive. Because as I think we've all realized that if we can get downtown thriving, the historic part where the tourists come, then that ripple effect will go above and beyond. And we appreciate you guys, you know, talking with us, sharing ideas, me and Steve listening. We look forward to working with the new city administrator to welcome. Continue that just conversation. I know that sometimes it gets, people throw ideas and why isn't the city doing that? We don't want to be, we want to have productive conversation where we hear from you and go, no, that doesn't, we can't do that. Steve has said that a couple of times. No, that's a great idea, Gretel. We can't do it that way, but let me look at this way. So we're, you know, Gretel guys. So that, just a quick presentation, just so you can kind of understand where we're coming from, what our plan is, and thank you, City Council, Mayor, and to the staff for opening their doors to us and listening to us.
I love this.
Yeah.
Thank you so, this is great, you guys. I love this.
You know, one of the things, Jesse, as you were talking, I just kind of flashed on, you guys could be mentors for new people who open businesses and help them understand what our city is and the clientele and how to be productive and
that's an idea.
Before they even decide.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, yeah,
before
and
they do the
we want to
thing.
open our doors. If
You're a
you're really
salesperson.
thinking of that, what do you have in place, and what are you
Right.
thinking and what's going to work? We've also talked about, you know, the three of us looked at, you know, renting a space, one of the vacancies, and maybe starting an incubator where 4 or 5 people are there. They have a business idea. Let's see if it works. If it works, then our ultimate goal would be to get them out of that to one of the vacant spaces. But there's people that don't, you know, they don't have a lot of funds. They can't rent a building for $2,000. If we could help with that, maybe that could be something. So that, we've got a lot of ideas going. Of course, it takes money, but that is the ultimate goal, is yes, getting up and going so they stay.
Right.
And see that Angels Camp does have value, that if you're doing the right thing, business will come to you.
They're both.
Well, then Amy's got her thing coming up with the downtown
Right.
later too.
So I think we're, there's positive track going. We've had a great conversation. Amy's full of ideas. So. But that's good. That's how we brainstorm and collaborate. She's like, hey, you guys could do this. So, yeah, so we can do
I love
that.
the fact that you guys are like trying to help it, but instead of just complaining about things, it's like you guys are very proactive and very encouraging. I love this. I think downtown Angels, I've always thought it was so beautiful and it could be so much more.
And I appreciate you guys coming and all the ideas.
Yeah.
Thank you. It starts with the property owner, business owners and property owners, we all need to work together and make it happen, basically.
Well, thank you for
Thank you.
coming,
Thank you.
thank you for collaborating.
Yeah.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
it's
We
great,
appreciate
thank you. Okay, moving on to item 8, approval of the agenda as posted or amended.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I'd like to request that we move action item 11.
Hello? Sorry, can you hear me?
Yes.
I wanted to talk during the open session.
Okay, we're not quite there yet. We'll get there in just a minute.
Okay, perfect, sorry.
Thank you. Request to move action item 11D ahead of 11A.
Okay. Does anybody else have any amendments or changes to the agenda? Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve the amendment. I'll second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Behill?
Aye.
Shemente?
Aye.
Scott?
Aye.
Barolio?
Aye.
Mayor Sharado?
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to item 9, public comment. The public may address the city council on any item of public interest not otherwise on the agenda that is within the jurisdiction of the city. No action may be taken. Matters to be addressed may be referred to city staff or placed on a subsequent meeting agenda. Speakers are limited to 5 minutes per person. Do we have any public comment?
I used to get to push the button. Okay, there we go. Hi, everybody. Is it on?
Yes.
Yep, you're on.
Can't hear it. Most of you know me, but anyway, my name is Aisha Williamson, CEO of Sierra Hope. I'm here today actually to share something kind of fun. It's a new initiative that we're working on with Veteran Services of Calaveras County. So I have these. I know I'm not making a presentation, but I'll leave them somewhere if anybody's interested. Anyway, Brian Alicia is going to be doing, he did one 2 weeks ago, but he'll be doing the second Monday of each month at Sierra Hope will be a satellite office for veterans to come and meet with them to get services, counseling, any additional support they need, help reaching veteran services or the VA. So it'll be the second Monday of each month from 9 to 3. It's by appointment or walk-in. We've kind of joked, we said if the door is locked, please just knock. And then Neil Parrish, who also works with Veteran Services, is going to be doing 2 support groups. They will be the 2nd and 4th. Hang on. I should put my glasses, I should never have took them off. You didn't put it on here. I believe it's the 2nd and 4th, how funny, you didn't write it, Thursday of each month. I know that they're already doing them in Murphy's and up in Arnold, but they're also adding it at the Sierra Hope offices. There will be a women's veterans group that will meet from 4 to 5:30, and a men's will meet from 6 to 7:30. And so that's kind of an exciting partnership that we're doing by literally offering our offices for them to come in. Like I said, he has a separate space where he can meet privately with people if they want to come in and discuss any issues that they're having. Otherwise, their offices are normally in Valley Springs, and this gives them a wonderful opportunity to just be local in the community. There was a coffee group that met that Monday that he did this, and it was really kind of funny because I think 4 or 5 people did a walk-in right after they came from the coffee group, and they all came in with things they needed to talk about, that they were struggling with, and needed resources, and it was right there and they could meet easily. So it's nice to know that we could do that all together. We've also recently rented a house here in Angels Camp. I'm not going to disclose the location, but I'm also working with Veteran Services. It will be for veteran men only, and that will be a new program with Sierra Hope. So just wanted to offer that. It'll be permanent supportive housing as well as transitional. Thank you.
I just looked up, it is Thursdays.
Yeah.
So Neil sent me the
He didn't put it
flyer.
on here.
Yeah.
He wrote the time, but he didn't write the day.
Yes.
I think he sent out a mass email, but he just
He
didn't put
did.
it on the flyer.
Yeah. Okay.
But anyway, so that's just a new initiative that we're working in collaboration.
Great, thank you.
Mayor, I forgot to mention, we do have our city attorney is not present with us, but he is online participating.
Thank you.
Are we on? Good evening. My name is Christopher Butner, publisher of Calaveras-Watchdog.com. This evening I address two issues of significant legal and financial consequence to the City of Angels Camp, that its elected and appointed leadership can no longer ignore nor dismiss. Issue 1. The Angels Camp City Council was advised by my email on March 3rd, 2026, that a criminal complaint was being prepared for filing with the Calaveras County Sheriff's Office against Calaveras Visitors Bureau Executive Director, Mr. Martin Huberty, and the Calaveras Visitors Bureau Board of Directors President, Ms. Susan Weatherby, for an evidence-backed allegation of intentional and persistent fraudulent misrepresentation to the two local governments providing the majority of Calaveras Visitors Bureau's annual operating budget from public funds comprised of transient occupancy taxes. The Angels Camp City Council has long been deceived by the Calaveras Visitors Bureau, and you must now comprehend a basic fact of law. It is not possible legally for the Calaveras Visitors Bureau to simultaneously be a nonprofit association, as the Calaveras Visitors Bureau fraudulently claims contractually to the City of Angels Camp, a public benefit nonprofit corporation, as the Calaveras Visitors Bureau fraudulently claims contractually to Calaveras County, and a mutual benefit nonprofit corporation, as Mr. Martin Huberty reports, to state and federal government entities since 2021 when submitting the Calaveras Visitors Bureau official filings to the California Secretary of State, the State of California Department of Justice, and the United States Internal Revenue Service. As of today, the Calaveras Visitors Bureau, under the intentional and persistent fraudulent pretense advanced by Mr. Martin Huberty and a succession of Calaveras Visitors Bureau Board of Directors presidents since 2019, currently Ms. Susan Weatherby, has received approximately $600,000 in public funds from the City of Angels Camp transient occupancy taxes, and since 2023, $850,000 in public funds from the Calaveras County's transient occupancy taxes, totaling approximately $1,450,000 in public funds. Criminal complaint number 26-000946, filed by me with the Calaveras County Sheriff's Office on March 16, 2026, alleges grant fraud and misuse of public funds resulting from the intentional and persistent fraudulent misrepresentation of the Calaveras Visitors Bureau legal type by Mr. Martin Huberty and Ms. Susan Weatherby. Issue 2. I sent an email on March 10, 2026 to legal counsel for the City of Angels Camp, legal counsel for Calaveras County, and the Calaveras Visitors Bureau Board of Directors, its advisors, and its administration, notifying all parties that my sworn California Fair Political Practices Commission Enforcement Division complaint, COM-0308-2026-00663, is active as of March 8th, 2026, against Calaveras County District 3 Supervisor, Mr. Martin Huberty, also serving as the Calaveras Visitors Bureau Executive Director, for an evidence-backed allegation of his intentional and persistent fraudulent misrepresentation of the Calaveras Visitors Bureau Corporation type to the City of Angels Camp and Calaveras County, the two government entities providing the majority of Calaveras Visitors Bureau annual operating budget from public funds consisting of transient occupancy taxes. It is alleged that Mr. Martin Huberty's actions constitute a severe violation of the California Political Reform Act and are not merely technical breach, as these actions represent a serious and substantive violation of the law, likely to cause significant financial and reputational harm. There is now significant legal urgency for the City of Angels Camp and Calaveras County to immediately suspend all disbursements to the Calaveras Visitors Bureau and void their respective funding agreements with the Calaveras Visitors Bureau. Mr. Martin Huberty's unwillingness to acknowledge his intentional and persistent fraudulent misrepresentation and take corrective actions when advised numerous times for nearly 3 years of this material violation precipitated my sworn California Fair Political Practices Commission Enforcement Division complaint seeking investigation that may realistically lead to Mr. Martin Huberty being barred from holding public office and subjecting him to felonious criminal charges. My name's Christopher Butner, publisher of Calaveras.watchdog.com. Good evening.
Okay, and do we have a public comment? Okay.
Jessica Self, I just want to make a quick public comment on behalf of my family, specifically my grandma. She wanted me to provide public comment. Her mother, Isabel Gualdoni, was a huge public servant for Angels Camp. Our family's been, the Gualdoni family line has been part of Angels Camp since around 1900 when they moved here. And Isabel, my great-grandmother, spent a lot of time helping the city, specifically with the park. And the park had created a plaque in her memory, and it was located on the drinking fountain. It was kind of near Mark Twain's statue. And so her request, and I think she's talked to staff since the construction of the park for all of the remodel, was just to make sure that that plaque was coming back. And it sounds like the plan is for it to come back once there is a drinking fountain, but she just wanted to provide she wanted me to provide public comment that if the council or if the city decides not to put it back, that she wants our family to be part of where it's going, and if you choose to not have it back at the park, she would actually like to have it. So, and that's it.
Thank you.
Any other public comment in the room? Okay, if not, we'll move to online public comment.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. Area code 530. Area code 530.
There she is.
Hi, this is Ellie Fong. I just wanted to have a quick comment during public speaking. My name is, I'm with Calaveras Cycle. We've been in business in Angels Camp for approximately 4 years. I'm now on the Angels Camp board as a director for the Angels Camp Business Association. I wanted to just let everybody know about some of the activities we do have coming up in the next few months. I hope you guys got them. I dropped some packets off at the City Hall this afternoon. We have the Signal Service is celebrating their 50th anniversary in April, and they will be having a function, and invitations will be sent out shortly. In May, we have the Junior Frog Jumps will be coming. I want to say it's May 9th. That will be held at Utica Park again. And then in June, on Fridays again, we'll be having the Farmers Market. That will be running for 16 weeks from June to September. So I just wanted to make sure that we were here and just letting everybody know that we do have functions coming up in the next month, and just letting everybody know. That's all.
Thank you.
Great, thank you so much.
And Mayor, there
Thank
are
you.
extra flyers on the podium if anybody in the audience is interested.
Great. Thank you. Is there any other public comment online? Okay,
I see no other public comment.
thank you, Steve. Okay, moving on to item 10, consent items. Looks like we have 5 consent items. Does anyone need to pull any?
I'd like to pull item E, please.
Okay. Any other items to pull? Okay. Hearing none.
I'll make a motion to approve A through D.
Second.
Do we have any public comment on A through D? Okay, none. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Behill.
Aye.
Shemente.
Aye.
Scott.
Aye.
Brolio.
Aye.
Mayor Sharada.
Aye. Okay, coming back to E, Scott?
Yeah, I just have a quick question on the the check, right, we wrote a check for $164,007 for a refinancing loan agreement. And I know Michelle's not here, but maybe if we just have her let me know what that's all about.
Okay.
When
Can
we
you
refinanced some kind of loan, what was it? And
repeat the amount for me, please?
$164,007.26. It was an EFT on February 4th.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do you want this item to just come back next month, or or next
Just to
meeting?
respond,
Or just you want to
Michelle, just get
respond?
back to me, let me know what kind of loan it was and whether it was loan fees or what are the terms, just details on that, please.
Yes.
Thank you.
Do we have any public comment on item E? Okay. Hearing none.
I'll make a motion to approve E.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Vihil.
Aye.
Shemente.
Aye.
Scott.
Aye.
Brolio.
Aye.
Mayor Sharado.
Aye. Okay, moving on to 11D, approving a memorandum of understanding for the implementation of the Highway 4 Corridor Regional Water Supply Long-Term Water Study Needs. So I'll turn that over to you, Steve.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. Good evening, Mayor and council members. Before you tonight is a request to consider Resolution 2640, which is approval of an MOU for the implementation of the Highway 4 Corridor Regional Water Supply Long-Term Water Study Needs. As you recall, back in, sorry, let me get to my right page here. So the City of Angels has been working cooperatively with regional water providers over the long-term water supply needs along Highway 4 corridor. The regional partnership includes the City of Angels, the Union Public Utilities District, UPUD, the Calaveras County Water District, CCWD, and the Utica Water and Power Authority, UWPA. In April of 2024, the City Council adopted a resolution supporting the development of a regional water study for the Highway 4 corridor. Since that time, staff from all four agencies have been working together to develop the framework for what is before you tonight, which includes a memorandum of understanding between these four agencies for the purpose of conducting this water study. Staff has also developed a preliminary scope of work, which will result in a request for proposals once it's finalized, which will then be put out to the interested parties that can do this study for us. There's a bit of a timing issue, and the reason that it's coming before you today is so that we can identify what the relationships are between the four agencies through this MOU, finalize the scope of work so that we can issue the request for proposals. That should happen sometime around April. We're hoping to get that and maybe May, hoping to get that information back around May, June at the latest, so that we can have some pretty firm costs of what we think this consultant's study will cost us so that we can budget for the 26-27 year. That's the reason for the time. I've been involved in this off and on, and we have some of our water partners in the room that have more history than I do with this. We have Mr. Minkler and myself in the room. If there are specific questions that I can answer, they were nice enough to join us this evening. Thank you, guys. But before you tonight is not the scope of work or the RFP. That's just in there for your information so that you know the type of work that's been going on in addition to this MOU. What's being asked today is to consider adopting the MOU, which again formalizes this relationship amongst the four water agencies for the purpose of this water study. There are specific things that we hope to accomplish as part of the study, but the specifics of those things are still need to be fine-tuned a little bit in the scope of work. Like I said, there is a draft scope, but it's not finalized yet. We estimated just in our discussions and the history that's in the room amongst the water managers that a study like this might cost about $100,000, give or take. We don't know for sure how much it's going to cost, and we probably won't know how much it's going to cost until we receive the bids back from the request for proposal. The fee structure that the managers of the water groups have agreed to is, of the total cost of the study, it will be split 50% CCWD and 50% Utica agencies. And since we're 50% of the Utica agency, our contribution is 25%. Union's contribution is 25%. That makes the 50% from Utica. We didn't feel like Utica needed to pay because Angels and Union pay Utica. So it would be like Utica would be paying a third of ours, and everyone agreed that's not fair. So that's why the structure is, the fee is structured the way it is, with CCWD paying 50% of the cost and the Utica independent agencies paying 25% each. So as an estimate, if this study costs $100,000 for the consultant to come in and do the research, do the work, make the presentation, make the recommendations, our contribution monetarily would be $25,000. But again, those exact fees won't be known until we get the bids back from the request for proposals. So I have included in here for you, it's just a little coincidence that it was resolution 2440 that approved the partnership 2 years ago, and it's resolution 2640 2 years later that authorizes this agreement should you so choose to do. That concludes my presentation, so I'd be happy to answer any questions that I can. And again, we have our partners in the audience if there are specific questions for the other agencies.
I'm going to bring it back to council and see what questions we have from the council.
I have more comments and questions. I think this is, I'm excited to hear this. I think this is long overdue. We've been sitting around the table talking over coffee about this kind of stuff, and it's never been memorialized or, and so making this an official project, I think is a big step forward. So I like to see all the nodding heads. That's good.
I agree. You're right. Last night I was the same thing.
Yeah, the Highway 4 thing is awesome, and we've been working on it for a few years now. I do have some questions on it. Is this for treated and untreated water both doing studies, or is it just untreated water to our plants, or?
You guys want me to?
Or if you want, whoever,
Good evening, everybody. I'm Michael Minkler with Calaveras County Water District. Awesome job, Steve. And I know he's headed out soon, so I just have to say, he started, as he said, in and out for a couple of years now. And as these discussions have happened, and Steve's been great. He showed up to our first meeting saying, I'm not an expert on water issues, but how can I help? And he's been super helpful. So thank you, Steve. So the thought here is pretty. We're trying to take a pretty comprehensive view of how all of us water agencies can work together to best serve the communities along the Highway 4 corridor. And so we've talked about different constraints that we could put on it, but I think the overarching, at least from my perspective, I can only speak for CCWD, the overarching objective was to not put too many constraints on it. If we're going to spend this money and bring some expertise in to give us some advice on how we move forward, let's let them look at the whole thing. And so I think it would apply to both treated water and raw water, which is crucial. Both are.
What else to have? Yeah, don't leave me yet.
That's right. And then if I could just touch on one thing that I know came up at UPUD yesterday. So the UPUD board, I can't speak for you guys, sorry. They took this up yesterday and approved it. But the question came up about, well, what if it's not $100,000? And what if and my board has asked the same thing. This will go to the CCWD board next week. And so if it comes back, I mean, first of all, I think our discussions among the GMs was that each of the boards would see this again to approve the contract before we approve, before we enter into it.
That's one of my questions.
Yeah, so
are we going to be checking stuff off?
Yeah, so we didn't, I know that. I know it was going to be a question because it's a question, it's a very legitimate question. So the thought was we enter into this MOU, but we really want to have kind of periodic check-ins with each of the governing bodies so that there's no no opportunity for misinterpretation, and that everybody's on board as we go through this. And so this was the first step, bringing the contract back. We'll have a consultant selection process, but bringing that contract back to each of the 4 boards would be the next step in the process. And if any of the boards say no, we don't go forward with it. We go back to the drawing board and revisit that. Whether it's a cost issue or any other issue, each of the boards would have that opportunity again.
On the RFP, we have the draft here. Is this the most recent draft that was in ours? Because I know there was some confusion in other packets.
On the MOU?
I know in the Utica packet, it wasn't the most recent RFP, so they just flipped that one out for our meeting for tomorrow.
The MOU, so I think the RFP is the most recent. It was the MOU.
The MOU that was wrong. And
Yeah.
so I have not had a lot of time to look at that,
Yeah.
unfortunately, today, since I got it so late and I've been on the road. So my question was, the RFP draft, I was hoping we would see a final RFP before it went out to be sent. Is that not going to happen? We're not going to be able to see that final
Yeah, so
before?
one of the things that we talked about amongst the working group was we didn't want to be, because we considered a lot of these things and then we pulled a lot out. We didn't want to be overly prescriptive in an MOU. So if the Angel City Council wants to review the RFP before it goes out, nothing in the MOU would stop any of us governing, any of our governing
I mean, we
boards
do
from
meet
doing that.
twice a month, which is nice. So we have a
Yeah.
meeting that first week of
And I think
April.
did Steve kick a time frame of April to June where the RFP would be done? Is that what I
The
heard?
hope was we would actually get
Get
responses
back.
back,
Right.
which would mean we would have to get this RFP out. That's why there's a bit of a sense of urgency here after all this delay.
Okay.
We do want to try to get it out soon. Ideally, we have a number to build into our budgets for the coming fiscal year. Not the end of the world if we don't have a number and we have to, make projections and then we go from there. But that was the hope, was that we could still, even though we're, oh my gosh, late March now, can't believe that.
Might as well call it April.
It's mid-March. It's 31 days.
It's still winter. I keep reminding people of that. It's not yet spring. But even though, here we are getting to late March, if we could get some numbers back before we all adopt our final budgets for the next fiscal year, that would be best case scenario, but we'll see where we're at timing wise. But I think from the other thought we had was, and then again, we decided not to put it in the MOU, was maybe a working group or an ad hoc committee of one elected official from each of the agencies.
That's one of my lists
GMs are
here.
gonna be working on this all the
Because
time.
we are responsible to our constituents, you're not. So I was just thinking that we should have an ad hoc committee of at least one elected or two from each body.
I agree.
So that was one of the things we kicked around, and
Yeah.
there's different ways to do that, and we're open to whatever works best for the agencies. 2 tends to be hard to schedule with all of us.
Right.
With
Yeah.
4 different agencies, so one thought we had was just having one, and then we avoid those potential Brown Act issues, especially with the Utica board.
Right.
So if we just have one, maybe with an alternate, and have like quarterly check-ins with the staff bringing, updates back to that ad hoc. That was one thought that we kicked around, but again, there's multiple ways to do it, and we didn't want to put that in an MOU before we got to each of the agencies to talk it through.
So that scratches, that was voting on RFP or decisions made for RFP, so that's kind of too, so we can do that on.
And Jessica, feel free to chime in here. I'm just going rapid fire.
Well, I think Michael covered it well, and we definitely have talked a lot about the check-ins with our governing bodies, and I think kind of where we were kind of sitting last is if we do one member from each governing body, we meet maybe quarterly. We didn't want to have it too strict in the MOU because there might be times where it's just not applicable. But really making sure that we're keeping every governing body in the loop, doing presentations, at the board and council meetings when we need to as well. So we've had a lot of discussions about that, so we're definitely planning on that.
Yeah, and another one of the things we did include in there, because it was a real high priority for all of us, and I have to also give a shout out to Dave Andrus. was kind of stalled for a little while, as you guys know, and he really helped push it forward. But one of the things we made sure was in here is just reiterating transparency and how, if we're going, I think this is a huge step, as Councilmember Behill mentioned, for us to, agencies to be doing this together. This has tried and failed before. And so for us to be doing this together, we really hope we get it to the finish line this time. But transparency has got to be a huge focus for all of us to make sure that the consultant understands that they work for, all of us as a group, and that we're all communicating amongst ourselves and transparently with the consultant about where we want this to go and how we best serve these communities.
I do have a question about that. So is Utica since Utica is like the entity that I guess we're designating as the communicator, or they're are they the holders of this? How is that working? What does that look like?
So where we ended up was the three-way cost share.
Mm-hmm.
And then essentially one way to think of it was Utica's contribution was just administering the contract. Okay. And so they would award we all collectively would select a consultant. Utica would award the contract and would administer that contract with the consultant, but with an understanding that we're all providing direction.
So all agencies will be then bombarding the consultant with information, or is everything going through Utica, or how does that work?
Hopefully we're a little bit more efficient than that, but maybe.
Okay.
No, I think the direction to the consultant would be, ideally we're all on the same page about how we're providing that direction to the consultant, and that there's regular check-ins.
Because they need to know information about facilities and how the systems work and things like that. My concern is that agencies would have access to the consultant and maybe give recommendations. And so I think on recommendations, maybe those go through Utica, or I don't know. I want to make sure that there's transparency and very clear guidelines in that area.
So the consensus of discussion was that we wanted to try to make sure that all of us have equal input with the consultant, and the consultant is aware it's not one agency taking the lead.
Yeah.
And so it's not going to be just Utica or CCWD or UPD or the city being the conduit of information. It's going to be all four agencies. And so it's going to be set up like that, and that will be the understanding with the consultant, is that all four GM, city administrator, we all of us are going to be providing input together.
Okay.
So it's not going to be funneled through any entity.
Okay, so there isn't anybody in charge. Everybody's in charge.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
And Murphy has voted yes. You said yesterday?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So yesterday you guys are in, CCWD's up, and then Utica's up, and we're tonight.
Utica actually has this on their agenda for a special meeting
Tomorrow, right.
And then for our CCWD's next board meeting is next Wednesday, and it'll be before our board on Wednesday.
Okay, so all be in this month then?
Yeah, so if all the agencies approve it and we're the last one, then we'll get that information to Utica and finalize this RFP and get it out the door as quickly as we can.
And then I guess the only other last thing for me, just because it is an MOU and there's some stuff to it, where's Will?
Yeah, Will.
Will, are you on?
You had a couple of.
I am here.
Have you looked at this or anything yet? Is there anything that sticks out lawyer-wise in this? Because I scanned over real quick this afternoon, and I apologize for doing homework here last minute.
Yeah, Alvin, I do think that there is some vagueness as to the scope. There's language like all direction given to the consultant must be done transparently and with buy-in from each of the agencies. It's really unclear like what that means. I think that we could infer some good faith into it. Ideally, these kind of issues are resolved, in the contract, like how is this all accomplished? But absent the, I'll call it ambiguities in there, I don't have an issue with it. I think as a framework for moving forward, although I will say it would be good to resolve all ambiguities first.
Okay. Well, and I'm gonna step outside and not out of the box, but Michael said this a second ago, that if, as we move forward, there's something amiss or something like that, we all have to vote again for this RFP and everything. So there will be a time to step out of this if things go wonky or something crazy. I'm just throwing out, right?
Yeah, our thought was that the RFP would go out as soon as we can, but we bring the contract, we bring the contract award back to each of the governing bodies. But I think that's a great suggestion. That we can find a way to build that into the contract with a consultant on, just exactly how we ensure that transparent. What does the communication look like, and be a little more detailed at that stage.
Yeah, because if it comes back and we're 200 grand a piece, maybe we're out. Or so I'm just throwing out some weird, who the heck knows?
Each agency would have an off ramp at that point.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. So it's not a blank check.
Right, yeah, okay.
So Steve, how does this dovetail into our redundant water source search that we're doing now?
Yes, thanks for the question. I did try to get a hold of our city engineer, Aaron, today, but he was not available. I asked him to text me if he became available, so let me just make sure. And no. So the most recent work that was completed on our redundant water source by the city engineer was he's engaged in landowner outreach, internal staff meetings, and reviewing right of entry forms with the city. The preliminary data that came back from the, I forgot the technical term, but the, whatever study was done, both the city engineer himself and the water related expert that works in the firm thought that it was positive information, like good. Looked like there's probably some water sources there that we can at least tap into. The problem is we don't know what we don't know. I mean, there may be water there, but we don't know what the quality of that water is, so there's some unknowns there, but that's the next stage of the project.
But I think what you're looking for, like that, all that's going to be taken into consideration. Like this will feed this information to the consultant as part of the study.
If I could, I think the timing is perfect. And in fact, when we first kind of restarted these meetings later last year, we intentionally kind of held off until now, in part because the city is doing that work. We're doing a new master plan for our Evans Pass service area. EPD is doing a master plan. We are going to have a whole new hydraulic model for our service area. And so as all that work is being done, we'll have kind of updated information that will feed into this process. And I think that'll be really helpful information. So I'm looking forward to seeing what comes out of that study.
I am interested in seeing the RFP, the final, before it gets sent out, only because I think that some of that stuff needs to be made sure that it's not too ambiguous or it's not flushed out or something like that. I don't know. I just feel like I don't know. Am I the only one thinking that? Or if I'm the only one in the boat, then I guess not so much. But we don't normally send out RFPs without them being approved here. So.
And Mayor, just, I think like you mentioned, one advantage that we have as the
we haven't had a
city,
meeting.
we could, it's possible that we could work quickly to bring something to your your April 6th meeting in terms of an RFP before it's released.
Well, I would hope it would
disagree?
be done because you want to send it out beginning of April, so you're probably close.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I would think we're close. Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, from what I'm gathering right now, if that RFP gets done, and I'm just saying we voted, Murphy's, Angels, any of us vote no at that time, then this is null and void anyways. Mm-hmm. So our out would be when we get presented with that RFP, if there's something we don't like, if the cost is too high or whatever.
Are you saying making adjustments to the scope of work at that point, or how?
Well, I think we would make our adjustments because we're going to have an ad hoc, so one of us will be sitting on that. We would make the adjustments we want on that RFP at the time.
We were not going to have that ad hoc in time for that to go out.
If we wanted to move forward on that time frame that we kind of proposed, it would have to, the RFP would go out here in the very near future, and that I doubt we could get that ad hoc meeting.
Yeah.
Right.
Knowing how hard schedule.
We actually have
the RFP would go out. The RFP would go out, and then
the actual contract award is what would come back to the council. That was what we had contemplated, but if that timeline doesn't work for the city, then
you want the RFP just to make sure you know what was going on in there.
Yeah, I did want to see that.
I'm fully in support of this MOU, but I would like to see the RFP before it goes out. I'd like that, even if they have to call a special meeting, to confer. I just think that I'd like to know more than the public does before we send something out so we can field questions and say, yeah, we looked at that, we discussed that, this is why we did that. I'd just like some more information before it goes out. I think that saves a lot of time in the long run too, because if something goes out that has a different scope, then maybe we have a minor, I don't know how to be too articulate here because we don't know what the scope's gonna be, we haven't narrowed it down. I think that we should have an opportunity to redo it.
And Mayor, if it's, it is possible if we finalize this within the next 2 weeks, that puts us at March 31st, which makes it in time for your April 7th meeting. So if it comes to you April 7th and you guys are all on board with the RFP, it could then be released on April 8th. Does that, anybody disagree with that?
Yeah, we have a full week before the April 7th meeting to review and ask questions. That gives us a few days anyway, before the meeting, iron anything out.
Okay, great. Any other discussion from council before I put it out to public comment? Okay, public comment. Anyone online?
Nobody online.
Okay, on this, do we want to include that we would like to have the RFP come back and the interest in any ad hoc of electeds or anything like that in the approval? Or do we need to be specific or?
Yes, please.
She is.
As far as ad hocs, you want us to be specific as to who's gonna
Or
Eventually,
information,
yes.
yeah, or just information that he needs to bring back too, right?
Yes, I would recommend, if the council is inclined to approve this tonight, you approve Resolution 2640, which authorizes the MOU, with the caveat that any RFP that's issued as a result of this MOU is approved by the city council before it's issued. And any contract awarded is approved by the city council before it's awarded. Just if you want that level of involvement in this. And then at some point, the next meeting, maybe the meeting after, we would agendize the opportunity for you to appoint an ad hoc member to the committee.
I'll make a motion for what Steve has said.
Okay, we have a first and a second, roll call.
Councilmember Behill.
Aye.
Shemente.
Aye.
Scott.
Aye.
Brolio.
Aye.
Mayor Shirato.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Man, we had a five.
Thanks for making this up. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Sure, we're gonna take a quick 5-minute break.
Thank you.
Okay, all right, so we're coming back. Moving on to item 11A, Resolution 2639, preparation of the engineer's report for the continuation of the landscape and lighting district number 2, Greenhorn Creek for fiscal year 26-27, Greenhorn Creek levy administration. And so I guess we're turning this over to Kyle with SCI Consulting Group. Is he online?
Thank you, Mayor, and I wish that was the case. So
Oh.
I'm gonna wing it and try to do this myself.
Wing it.
He was supposed to be online, so I'm not sure if it's a technical issue or a calendar issue. But before you tonight is the request for, this is the same consultant that we've used in the past for the purpose of performing the engineer's report for the Greenhorn Creek Landscape and Lighting District number 2. In your packet is a projected timeline from the consultant that identifies the anticipated progress of this report, starting with the meeting tonight here on March 17th, and resulting in a final public hearing and approval of the resolution on June 16th. The goal is to get this completed before the beginning of the fiscal year, and I do have good news about your newly formed Landscape and Lighting District Commission. Applications for that went out mid last week. with an application closing period of March 31st, with the projected timeline of bringing those applications before you at your April 7th meeting, so that that commission can get to work immediately on providing information to this consultant for this coming year's engineer's report. I've already received, I believe, 4 applications, so that's good news, that applications are out, people are already applying, they're interested in serving that community, so I'm happy for that. So again, before you tonight is the projected timeline from the consultant. He's done good work for us in the past. It's the, we're actively using the engineer's report that he completed last time. And this would result with your positive vote of approving a resolution 2639 with this same consultant. And I will try to answer any questions that you have.
My only question or suggestion is that since I've been on council, I have asked, and last year they were, I'd like to see the names redacted from the exhibit that shows who the property owners are, and just use APN numbers. They did it last year, Steve. I'd like to see that continue.
They did or did not do it?
They did.
Names redacted?
Yes.
Got it, thank you. APN numbers only. Any other questions or comments for me?
You guys all good? Okay.
We're good. Do we have any public comment? No. Anybody online?
No comments online.
Okay, great. So we'll bring it back for a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2639.
I'll second.
Councilmember Behill?
Aye.
Shemente?
Aye.
Scott?
Aye.
Brolio?
Aye.
Mayor Sharado?
Aye. All right, item number 11B, resolution 2637, letter of agreement to partner with the San Joaquin Small Business Development Center for assistance with the city's community block grant economic development program, subject to securing CDBG funds. Amy Augustine.
Mayor and council members, as a follow-up to the historic downtown business group, we are pursuing the community development block grant for a $1.5 million application to help with economic development, including downtown. In order to get the points you need to try to be successful, they give you 4 options, and they set a fairly high standard for having support for implementing the grant. They want you to have at least 3 years of experience with this grant specifically, and we don't have that on staff, we don't have it locally. However, the Small Business Development Center out of San Joaquin County, which covers Calaveras County, does have that. We have met with them, they are willing to help us. They have extensive experience with business incubators. They've been running one down in Stockton for quite some time. Lots of experience with training with new small businesses, people thinking they want to go into business and getting them up and started into a new business, which is sort of exactly what we were looking for some of our project, as well as having a training program. And then they would also like to have a peer group that could help assist others with getting off the ground and meeting and bouncing ideas off and just getting general support. So be happy to answer any questions you might have.
The only question, Amy, I'm assuming this is a competitive grant.
Yes.
Is there anything that gives us an edge over, this is a statewide grant also?
Yes.
Do they do small county and big counties, or how does that work?
So the only thing that helps us this time, we're not as poor as other places, so that's not good for us.
Okay.
What we are is we haven't had one from them for 5 years. The COVID grants don't count. So we do get some bonus points for that. So we're trying to get every point we possibly can. It's highly competitive, so.
Is this just one grant statewide, or is it?
No, it's several grants statewide.
Several.
And you can't get the grant if you've not had the grant before? Is that what they're saying? Basically, you've had to manage a grant for one of these grants for 3 years?
You need to have somebody helping you
Okay.
who has had that
experience.
experience.
Okay, gotcha.
Yes.
Thank you for that clarity.
Yeah, not that that's hard to find, but.
Right.
Well, thank you for pursuing this.
Mm-hmm. Thanks. Do we have any more questions from council before I turn it over to public comment? Okay, public comment.
I just want to say thank you for attempting this grant, Amy.
Sure.
Let's cross our fingers and
Yeah.
hope good stuff happens.
Great. Well, and Jesse?
Well, no, she tried to look at that's the kind of stuff that we want to be a part of. So if we can help you guys in a
Yes.
certain way and help her move forward, we are glad to step to play and do that. So whatever we can do to help facilitate that stuff, well, that's what we're here for.
Is this
Thank
the
you.
grant that you have to have everyone trained in the office and have like on the
Everybody's
computers and everyone's gonna start
Yes.
going after it at the same time?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
Took me a second to get that to register.
Different grant.
Yeah, basically you do outreach, people interested then sign up for training if they need it. Some people have already established themselves, so they don't need all the training. And often they tie the training into how much money you're going to get, how much of it you've successfully completed, and how much knowledge you've put into an effort into starting your business. Gets you more money to actually help you start the business.
But on the grant, the actual grant application, the day that it goes in, is that the one where it's really competitive and you have to
Yes.
be, okay, no, that's what I was asking.
Oh, yes.
So if you need extra bodies with computers and helpers to get on there, you can maybe train.
Oh, that they have changed,
Okay.
so that it's no longer first come, first serve.
Oh, okay.
Thankfully.
Okay.
So, yeah, we can take our time to
You
actually.
guys are off the hook.
Yeah.
For now.
But, yes.
They don't have a role in what type of businesses or any, how, their role, what's their role in,
The San Joaquin Small Business,
or where we're getting the grant from, do they have specific
no, they don't
types or?
specify, no. Although this is a micro enterprise grant, so it's usually 5 or fewer, so it's small businesses. And they tend to want businesses where either the owner is low, moderate income, or they can get employees who are low, moderate income. So,
And Amy, how much time do we have to spend this $1.5 million?
we have, I think it's like 2.5 years.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Amy.
Okay, any other public comment? Anyone online?
No comments online.
Okay, bringing it back for a motion.
I make a motion to approve Resolution 26-37.
I'll second.
Councilmember Behill,
Aye.
Shemente,
Aye.
Scott,
Aye.
Ferolio,
Aye.
Mayor Sharado.
Aye. Okay, item number 11C, Resolution 2638, Capital Equipment and Vehicle Replacement Policy and establishing a Capital Equipment and Vehicle Replacement Fund. Steve.
Yeah, we'll try this one also. Your finance director, Michelle Gonzalez, had a great idea. It's something I'm accustomed to in other agencies that I've worked in, and that is instead of just having a reserve balance that is pulled from when small vehicle and small equipment replacement needs come to light, departments will actually budget for the replacement cost over time. You take the cost of X equipment, you divide it by its serviceable years, and that's the amount of money that needs to be contributed typically from the general fund to this special holding fund, so that when the time comes, you have this money available to replace your police cars and your fire engines and the guns for the officers and all the small equipment replacement needs throughout the city. It also involves taking an inventory. So each department head would be responsible for assessing the actual cost of an employee. When we hire a new employee, police officer needs a gun and a badge and a vest and a belt, and all of those costs are then itemized and then spread out over the life cycle of the specific equipment that's being used. So what your finance director has done is develop a policy that staff would use probably more than on an annual basis, but at minimum on an annual basis during the annual budgeting process, along with the resolution that includes the policy in it as well. good timing since we're going to go into budget season very soon. So I thought about, just since your finance director isn't here, just holding off and letting her present it. But I think timing being what it is, and I would rather just have you consider it tonight so that we can continue in that budgeting process rather than wait for another meeting. But I'd be happy to answer any questions that you have.
This is something that I've wanted for many, many years. I've been asking about a schedule for major equipment and vehicles. A couple of my questions are, well, I didn't see the schedule on here, for one. It's not done yet?
It's not yet developed.
Okay. So then my second question was, for fire, is this allowed within Measure A funds? So with Measure A funds, can we do this schedule? Can we hold funds for a schedule?
Yes.
Can we reserve funds for the purpose of buying equipment in 5 years?
Yeah.
See, I think because there's a restriction on how much you can hold.
You hold.
Yeah, a minimum of 70% of Measure A needs to be used for those specific purposes, equipment and personnel, but what we need to confirm is, can that money be held over year after year, or is it like general fund?
I thought there was. I thought if you're saying it's to buy a fund, I thought there was
See, I don't
something.
know, that's why I was gonna ask Michelle.
We will confirm.
I think you only can carry over 10%.
10%, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
Right, but if you're
But if it's
reserved,
designated
but if
as.
it's designated, I think you could, because
Yeah, I
nobody
don't know the
expects you
answer
to
to
buy
that.
a building
Then we need to
this
confirm
year. You
that.
have to, you
I
have
don't know
to,
the answer to
you have
that.
to carry that over, I think.
Okay, that was my first one. The second one was, what happens if a replacement is needed in the next 1 to 4 years before the money has been built up? So let's say one of our vehicles gets in an accident, you get a certain amount of money from insurance, but we still have to buy a brand new vehicle. So how does that work?
Yeah, what I'm accustomed to in other agencies is we still have a reserve, right? And
Yeah.
so if it's something like that comes up, we would tap into the reserve for that one-time emergency replacement of funds and then pay it back over time.
Okay, so then that's my question, was then it would be paid back over time through the schedule?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yes.
And obviously then that vehicle will move on the schedule, like it'll kind of,
Yes.
yeah, okay.
Yep.
Yeah, so this budget's gonna look heavier.
Yep.
Because you're
Yes.
front loading a bunch of things, and so
Yeah.
each department head is gonna be trying to figure out how to budget for the future. But the good side is, I love this, the good side is we won't have to go into the general fund every time we
Every
get a
time.
vehicle.
Yeah.
And we won't need to do like 4 vehicles at a time.
Right.
Like, let's spread this
Spread them
out.
out.
And we're empowering our department heads because it's coming out of their budget to determine what they need. And
Yeah,
I like the idea too, it's not only vehicles, but it's equipment.
right, turnouts are in there, probably like the turnout,
Right.
special washing machine, like all that stuff.
SCBA's,
Yeah.
all the equipment on the engine, all the hoses, everything that we eventually needs to replace because it has a sunset, it has a lifespan, it needs to be scheduled. And that schedule hasn't been developed yet, so hopefully we can do it, before the start of this fiscal year, but at least this is the beginning of it.
Try to start something.
But it's even like for public works too.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, backup and everything else.
Yeah, exactly. I agree.
Yeah.
So I guess my question then would be is, this is probably not set in stone, but if when budgetary cycles come up, there is no money to fund this, can department heads then remove this, choose to remove this? Or is it set in stone that if it's $10,000 a year for turnouts or whatever it is, that it has to go in?
Yeah.
But if budget is impacted or something down the year, we have a recession, does it have to go in there is my one.
And my experience with it is no, and tough decisions will need to be made at the beginning of a fiscal year. Do I cut this program, or do I fund this future equipment need?
Right.
Or does council give me a one-time exception because of a particular financial situation? So it's not absolutely set in stone, it's a framework, it's a guideline.
And don't get me wrong, I don't want to do that every year.
Yeah.
I don't want to do that. I think this is a great idea, but when and if, times will get tough.
Yeah.
At some point. Okay.
Okay. Any other questions before I move it out to public comment? Right, public comment? Anyone online? I heard someone just pop on there.
They need to be admitted.
Oh,
It's well.
just well, okay. Well, bring it back for a motion.
I'll move, we approve resolution 26-38, adopting a capital equipment and vehicle replacement policy and establishing a capital equipment and vehicle replacement fund.
I'll second.
Councilmember Behill,
Aye.
Shemente,
Aye.
Scott,
Aye.
Brolio,
Aye.
Mayor Sharado.
Aye. Okay, moving to 11E, Resolution 2641, approving an employment agreement between the City of Angels and Michael Hodson for the position of City Administrator. Steve?
Thank you, Mayor. Sorry, trying to do about 3 things.
Trying to do 10 things at once.
Yeah.
I'm impressed.
Okay, thank you, Mayor and council member. Exciting day for us. We get to consider the employment agreement for your next city manager or city administrator. So the position of your city administrator has been vacant since September 12th of 2025. You appointed me to serve in that position since September 17th of 2025, and I'm serving as a retired PERS annuitant with limited hours. So because of that, the recruitment for the replacement of this position has been ongoing since day one that I've been here. And we started getting some applicants, and the city council at some point, I believe it was in November, decided to employ the services of an executive recruiting firm. We had about 6 different recruiting firms interested in providing service for us. The city council ultimately decided on and approved an agreement with Peckham and McKinney. Peckham and McKinney assigned a particular recruiter to the job, and that recruiter lined out for you an anticipated timeline, and I'm happy to say that he met that timeline. He was very good at communicating with staff about the progress of the recruitment. We being the recruiter received, I believe, 36 applicants for the position. Those 36 applicants were reviewed by the recruiting consultant and was narrowed down to 6 finalists. Those 6 finalists were interviewed by 2 different interview panels. I believe it was on March 5th, maybe, of this year. The interview panels, one of them consisted of the 5 council members. The second interview panel was of internal department heads. Those interview panels, along with the screening from the recruiter and the recommendation of all involved, has resulted in identifying Michael Hodson as the successful candidate being considered for your appointment to the position of city administrator. Mr. Hodson is in the room with us, along with his wife. Thank you both for being here this evening. I can tell you I'm excited. We've had a lot of discussions over the last week or 2, and I think the city is going to be in very good hands with him. I'm excited for you, excited for him and his family. Extensive background. I mean, I'm not going to go over all of his education and all of his jobs, but he's clearly qualified for the position. I would like to make clear that the recommendation is to start him at step 3 of the established employment schedule for city administrator. That step 3 is currently at $168,896 annually. Along with that salary would be benefits that are identified in the exempt employees memorandum of understanding. The city administrator is not included as an employee in the exempt group, but his individual employee agreement refers to benefits in that MOU. So things like healthcare and Social Security and investment opportunities and the other things that we offer our exempt employees. Some of those things are referenced in his individual employment and others are not. For example, a COLA, an annual COLA, is identified in the exempt MOU, but it's not identified in his individual employment agreement. A step increase is identified in his individual employment agreement. So this time next year, with a successful and a positive evaluation, he could be eligible for step 4 of the salary schedule. I would like to note that the recommended employment agreement that was drafted by our city attorney is included in your packet. And I would like to request 1, 2, 3 changes, please. Those changes are as follows. In the exempt MOU, which his employment agreement refers to specifically for the sections of vacation time and administrative leave time, calls for a no use within the first 6 months of employment, which means he cannot use vacation time, he cannot use administrative leave time within the first 6 months of employment. I'm asking that you remove those 2 restrictions and allow him to use both vacation time and administrative leave time within the first 6 months. Mr. Hodson and his family is making a significant commitment to the city, and it's going to require a day off here and a day off there that under normal circumstances, he couldn't use those days off. So I'm asking that that be removed from his terms. Second thing is, in his employment agreement that you have before you, there is, in section 5.4, it talks about the employee, in addition, employee shall be granted 40 hours of vacation leave upon his start date. I'm asking for that to be removed, to not be credited with 40 hours of vacation time upon initial employment. He will earn vacation time just as all the other employees do, 8 hours a month and on an accumulated basis. However, he will have immediate, with the removal of the 6-month restriction for administrative leave, he will have immediate access to 120 hours of management leave, which all of our management employees get. And by removing that restriction, it gives him 120 hours right away that he can do the things that he needs to do to get settled in our community.
Yeah.
What's the third thing?
The
moving expenses, thank you very much.
That was a test.
Is this thing on?
We're still awake.
As I mentioned, Mr. Hodson and his family are making a significant commitment to this city, just like you're making to him. It's a two-way street. And along with that comes some moving expenses. In your last city manager, and I believe previous city manager agreements, city administrator agreements prior to that, there was a relocation reimbursement. The last one was $7,500, and I'm requesting that that be added to this agreement. We include a $7,500 reimbursement agreement being made immediately available to him upon proof that $7,500 was expended on his moving expenses. So the relocation expenses, the removal of the 6-month restriction, and the 40 hours of vacation being removed from the agreement. Happy to answer any questions that you have.
Do we have any questions from council?
No questions. I have a statement.
Before or after, what?
I don't know, I'll do it right now. I would just like to say that I think the Peckham and McKinney process was well worth it, and having 30-something applicants was absolutely amazing, and having those, I mean, they were all top quality picks that we interviewed. It was very impressive, and my top 3 were interchangeable. They were all really great, and I'm just, each one had different characteristics that I'm just saying, each one of them had different, that was bad, I'm sorry. Each one of them had different characteristics that I can see fit and do different things. So I am very excited to have Michael. But the top 3 were awesome, is where I was at. And they each had different qualities that were really good. So, but I'm happy to have you here, and well, shortly here as soon as we take a vote. But I just wanted to say thank you to Peckham and McKinney. It was awesome, and the process was really good. And thanks, Steve. 100%, buddy. Thank you.
Thank you.
The only other thing I'd like to add, and I agree with what Alvin said, is maybe have council look and add something to our handbook about the process of selection and whether or not, because now we've done it twice, since I've been on the council, and it feels like we've done it differently each time. And maybe Will can help solidify, memorialize a process that we could use. I.e., do we just do one interview, or do we bring the top three back for a second? What is that gonna look like? And how could that look like? So it obviously can be changed in the handbook for future councils, but at least we could have a conversation about how we'd like to see the process in the future. Not that there's gonna be a future. Remember that.
Keep playing.
Remember that.
Stop talking.
Yeah. Remember that.
It's supposed to be councils come and go.
I think I failed to mention that if you approve this agreement tonight, although it's approved tonight, his anticipated start date is March 30th.
Thank you for clarifying that.
Okay.
Okay.
I make a motion.
No, I gotta go to public comment.
Yeah,
Oh, public comment.
That's your favorite part. I gotta get to public comment.
Okay.
No, is anyone online? Okay, great.
No.
Okay, now we can bring it back.
Okay, so with pleasure and sadness, because Steve, I want to just begin by thanking you. I think we all share that sentiment that you've stepped in twice now. And you really, as a captain guides a ship on those troubled waters, you've done that for us. So we truly appreciate what you do and have done.
Thank
And
you.
we wish you the best. Thank you, Steve. So with that, I make a resolution to approve.
Motion.
Motion to resolution.
For the resolution.
MOTI.
It's getting late for
Make-
Okay, 2641, approving an employment agreement between the City of Angels and Michael Hodson for the position of city administrator.
I'll second.
All right.
That was a tie. Goes to the lady. Okay, so roll call, please.
Councilmember Behill.
Aye.
Shemente.
Aye.
Scott.
Aye.
Braulio.
Aye.
Mayor Sharada.
Aye. It is with great pleasure that we welcome you.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Thank you for your service for our country, and for coming and doing the work that you're going to be doing with us. I'm really excited about our future, so.
We look forward to
Yeah.
a long and lasting relationship. That's it.
Very, longer than I'll be here. Okay. All right, moving on to item 12. Informational items 12A is the 2016 Space Needs Assessment. Steve.
Thank you, Mayor. I included this space needs assessment in your packet because I think there was some discussion last meeting about it. And so I just wanted you to just remind that this occurred in 2016. It was completed by Aspen Street Architects. I think it's about 12 or 15 pages, and it essentially reviews all of our property that we had at the time, what its use was at the time, and a recommendation at the end of what we should consider as we move forward with our staffing need, not our staffing needs, but our space needs for our staff. So just want to remind everyone that this happened 10 years ago, and put it out there for your knowledge. We did talk about, we've had some, well, never mind, I won't say that part.
Thanks for the information.
You're very welcome.
For the information. We've seen this before. Yeah, we've seen this before. I
To
mean,
be
obviously,
continued.
a lot has changed since this has been done, but a lot hasn't. So I think there's still a lot of applicable information here that we can pull, but there's some things that need to be updated.
I think it's a good starting point, and not having to spend as much money, or maybe even
Yeah.
spend any money.
Or maybe not even
If we
spend
can
any
use
money.
this as a starting point.
We just have to come to consensus about what direction we want to go.
Yeah.
I agree.
Cool. Okay, moving on to administrative, or an administration report.
I have no report this month, thank you.
That's amazing. Council reports. Scott?
Sure. Let's see. We attended a COG meeting, and my notes from that are, I guess there's just under $300,000 from Caltrans in a cleanup grant for the county. So I wrote my notes here, more garbage cans. So the idea is get the crap off the street. The wagon trail has been renewed. They're working on design and right of way. They hope to have that done by June of '27. Construction anticipated in '28. and the communication with the property owners will start next month. They also published their Calaveras County Active Transportation and Recreational Trails Draft Plan, the old thick thing. As it relates to Angels Camp, there's verbiage in there about our Angels Creek Trail is at the top of the list. And so as funds become available, that won't hold us up, we're ready to go. With LAFCO, the only thing that really affects us here is we've decided to do MSRs for the fire departments, all the fire departments in the county this year. And so Alphaville Maloney's will be, well, it was the first one on the list because it starts with an A, Carol pointed out. And we did City of Angels last year in the MSR for the city. So we'll learn more about the financial and the service models or levels for the fire departments this year. And then finally, I'd just like to thank Steve for your leadership, your guidance. He talks me down off the cliff once in a while. So really appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you.
And Scott and I both attended COG, and Scott did an excellent job. He also asked our Caltrans representative about when our project was going to start. And so I don't know, Steve, if he has gotten back to you yet, or anyone from Caltrans regarding when the official start date of the project will be.
No, I don't have an official start date. I do have the name and phone number of the supervising employee that took over from the gentleman that was with us last year. So I can call and ask him. But the last thing I was told was they want to be confident that there's no rain before they open it back up.
It's going to be a project.
So that'll be a turnover.
And then the only other thing is I did attend the Chamber of Commerce gathering at the Bank of Stockton. It was well represented. Last Thursday. Yes. And Danielle, who's a local young lady, is now our branch manager. I think they call her manager, right?
Yes, she's the branch manager.
And she just did an excellent job. Her presentation was spot on. And it's good to see young folks make it in our community.
I just have a little add-on with the COG. I spoke with Melissa Raggio today because I had some questions about those little things that are attached to all of the signs around town. And I said, is that part of the traffic mitigation project? She said, yes, and just let everyone know that it's not capturing any of your personal information from your vehicles. It is just capturing the data needed for the traffic mitigation. So I just want to make sure everybody's aware of that. Because I did not know what that was. I thought it was like license plate reader. So. Go ahead, do you
Yes, I asked her about that also, and she said they were up for 72 hours. There's little flashes, and it's just doing counts. It's not capturing or recording any information.
Right, so it's in groupings and it's for 72 hours. So you'll see it pop up in a group and then come down and move to another area. Yeah, so anyway, I just want to bring that up. I have nothing else to report, so.
I don't have much. As Scott mentioned, we went to the LAFCO meeting yesterday. He gave you the update on that. And then also, I don't know if you guys got the email that was forwarded from Seaside, that they're kind of looking for feedback.
Yeah. Amy, did you?
I don't think I gave it to Amy, but I will tomorrow.
It would be good for Amy to review that.
Okay.
Wait, it will be.
I will send it to you right now if you want, Amy, because they're looking for feedback maybe by the end of this week. This is their bioeconomy, their playbook, and so they want Angels camps, and they've got this whole thing put together.
Yes.
Yeah. It was a lot of stuff.
It was a lot of stuff.
Wasn't there a bio-waste project floated a few years back?
There was. It's still continuing. I don't
know, Springfield or something, or?
Yeah, the bio-waste thing is one of the ongoing.
I think aren't they doing it in Tuolumne?
Well, there is one big one in Tuolumne.
It's all 5 surrounding.
Right.
But
4 surrounding.
Yeah, the bio-waste station and
And the reason why, Amy, we're sending it your way because they want us to look at our general plan and things and see whether or not it meshes.
Or economic development element.
And then I also wanted to say thank you to Steve. I'm gonna really miss your text messages. Good morning. Can you call me so I can talk to you? I'm like, oh gosh, what did I do?
When he says, good morning, call me, dot, dot, dot.
Call me when you have a second. I'm always going, I feel like I'm in trouble every time. But I've said this to you several times, I'm just saying it out loud. I love the way, I was new coming on. You were very supportive. We pretty much came in around the same time. I love the fact that you knew this council well. We worked so well together. It's like you knew what we were gonna ask. You had it ready for us. You were always in tune. And I really appreciate you. You were definitely gonna be with us.
You sang there?
What did you say?
No, I was in tune. You said he was always in tune, though.
Oh, he sings, yeah.
Very tune, yeah.
I am definitely looking forward to Mike coming on board and hopefully a seamless transition, and we're really excited, very excited.
We're also looking forward to you coming on.
Yeah.
You're welcome. And thanks for attending our meeting tonight.
Of course. I'm sorry you couldn't make the last one.
Yeah, no, it's okay, but thank you very much.
Do you have anything?
I don't have anything. I have a favor on COG. Can we bring up to Caltrans on that Highway 4 between Bar 20, between Appaloosa and Stallion, that hard corner?
Oh, yeah, that's.
Can we bring up like some signage there to say there's that hard corner coming? Because I've seen a bunch of people.
Is this the new pull station?
No.
That's gonna become the new pull station.
Well, yes, it will become the new pull station, I think, where they're just gonna shoot out the people. But
It's not
if
I think we will.
yeah, if you bring it up, then
And then Alvin, I've asked every time too, when they're gonna put, miles per hour signs up.
Yeah, there's none.
They don't have any on that stretch.
Cool.
I know.
So just go at your own pace.
It is, and then the cops get you.
It's weird. that
Yeah,
they-
there's
they
nothing.
don't. Yeah.
So, yeah, I didn't have any meetings since the last meeting. I just, thank you very much.
We're just carrying the load, Scott, you know?
You always want to leave it before the 20 does the 80. I still want to leave before the 80 does.
Do we have any correspondences?
We have none this month, for this meeting.
City council calendar, which you have up. So we actually have a change. The UWPA meeting that was on the 31st is actually tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
Okay. And I think that's the only change I know for this month. Anything else?
And then we're free.
WMA is tomorrow.
Okay. And then April, we've got, you guys have COG on our week, that weird bye week, but that's nice. Then you don't have it.
April 1st.
Yeah. And then the 7th is city council. Oh, well, we have our new city administrator onboarding on the 30th, which is great. We have you onboarding on the 6th.
Yeah.
Is that right? Okay, on the 6th, and then city council meeting, planning commission meeting. It's gonna be a busy week there. First 2 weeks.
Good, will that be your first? Yes.
Second.
No, second.
Second, good.
Okay, any future agenda items?
I don't at the moment.
Sure.
We just went back.
Okay.
Well, we didn't realize what was
We
going
almost
on.
threw you out of the
So
chair.
Steve, we just want to do, on behalf of our group and everything, business people, we want to thank you. You've listened to us, you've been open to our ideas, you've come back with different ideas, you've never said, no, absolutely not. We maybe can't do that, but here's a different solution. So we just wanted to, we didn't realize it was your last, so we would have, sorry guys. So thank you.
Thank you.
We appreciate your roundabout thinking of ideas, like, well, this won't work, but maybe we could this, or, so I appreciate the energy,
Thank
for
you.
sure.
Thank you.
Very, very much.
She'll be around.
Well, I've been in denial about you.
I know.
And when you told me the other day when we were on the phone that you said, well, if this works out, this will be my last council meeting, it kind of did hit me like, wow, like that is, it's unfortunate, but fortunate. I mean, it's like this double-edged sword. So it's been such a pleasure having you here. Thank you for stepping in when we needed you a second time. And we wish you all the best of luck, and we hope that we can work with you in some other capacity, but not as interim city.
My God, made you feel really good.
So I think that's it, unless we have anything else. I'll look for a motion.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
And happy birthday, Caroline.
Yes,
And Mike.
Yeah, and Mike's
Tomorrow.
tomorrow. We're like the birthday buddies.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, but he's not as lucky.
All in favor, aye.
That's all.